Okay, ready to
All
start?
right, that's it.
This is it.
Goodbye.
What? No. That's the
Oh,
wrong way.
oh shit.
You gotta, yeah, it's the beginning, not the end.
Oh,
Although all ends are just hidden beginning. Is that something I
what?
saw on like a placard somewhere to
I
hang
mean,
around?
it sounds like something you get out of a fortune cookie. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like you gotta put it under the big sign above your bed that says "Live, Laugh, Love,"
That's
right?
right. Yeah,
You put every end is a beginning in your
yeah.
mom's heart or something, or every door that opens is on hinges. You're like, what? Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Sure, sure.
nostalgia.
Yeah, we're
This
here. Nostalgia. We
nostalgia.
we made it to this podcast.
We did.
The podcast
It's
all
good.
about nostalgia.
I'm already nostalgic about it.
And from a
Um,
year from now, we're gonna be like, yeah, yeah, we did that.
yeah, we did do that thing.
We
Wow,
did that,
remember
man.
back in 2023 when we were doing things?
Yeah, man.
Um, what are you nostalgic for, Mike? Just throw something out there.
Nostalgia's an interesting one for me because, like, I feel like I'm not that much of a nostalgic person, but then again, like once in a
Wrap up the podcast.
while, that's it. That's it's over.
Stamped and done.
um, uh, Whenever someone brings up Red Alert 2, then I just go fucking crazy. So, like, I must be nostalgic for something. So, like,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Ollie?
Uh, what am I nostalgic for? I'll tell you something that's not video game related that I'm nostalgic for, super fucking nostalgic for, is the Sony mini disc. I
Oh, really?
love that little thing. Yeah.
Tell
Uh,
me about it.
we'll
What
probably
was
talk
it?
about it later.
Oh,
What?
okay.
Yeah, it's part of it's a thing. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, so we sent out a survey to our friends and enemies apparently,
Yeah, there's
and
we're being threatened now. The people have spoken. They don't like surveys. I don't understand
mm,
why. I mean, who doesn't like
they
surveys? Like,
yeah,
I fill them
they're
out every
pretty
time. I wait on the phone after every tech support call.
right.
Every call,
What?
in fact.
No, don't
Every call I
don't do
wait.
that.
Even when they don't offer a survey, I still wait just in case.
Do you want to talk about something, Mike? You're right. Do we need to get
My
off the
my
air
arm
and
hurts real bad, so
if you don't know, Mike tried to throw his arm away
that's
in
right.
his sleep and it wouldn't leave.
I just didn't want it at that point in time, but then I now see my mistake.
Yeah.
Uh, and I've been in a shoulder brace after
Mm.
dislocating my shoulder for a week now.
Was it because you farted or something? What happened? Did you?
I was just laying in bed, man. I was laying in bed and my arm just popped out of its socket. And this is not the
That's
first time it's happened. It sucks.
it's got a mind of its own, man. You're
Uh,
you're a regular fucking what's it? Ah, no, I'm forgetting his name. Ah,
uh, uh,
uh,
uh,
wait, hold on. Peter Sellers.
Peter Sellers?
Son of a bitch. Hold on. Oh, this
He's
coffee sucks.
he's getting his phone.
Hold on. No, I'm not. I'm sitting on my hands because it's cold and I'm
Okay.
focusing all I can.
All of his mental
Strangelove,
power.
you're Dr. Strangelove.
Oh, okay. I've never seen
Got his hand. What the fuck?
it.
Mike, what? You've never seen Dr. Strangelove?
I'm pretty sure I have not ever seen Doctor Strangelove.
Oh my God.
Uh,
We have to watch that movie. It's
all
pure
right.
joy and absurdity.
All right. We'll put it on the
All right.
list.
Oh my God. Really? I have
Pretty sure.
nostalgia for
Oh,
watching
shit.
Doctor Strangelove with my father and being like, what are we watching?
You know, because I saw the Peter Sellers like documentary, and I remember, or there was a movie about like where they got an actor to play him, right?
Mhm.
I think it was the actor who plays Barbosa in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Jeffrey Rush?
Is that his name? Yeah, that's probably yeah.
I think so. All
All right. Well, you
right.
definitely remember a lot better stuff of things in the past, except for like media stuff. So
What do you
I
mean? What do I forget?
I don't know, man. My arm hurts. I'm just gonna blame.
Okay,
I'm gonna
let's
blame it on everything wrong for me
let's just
today.
get let's just get to the fucking. Everyone's off. This is it. Everyone dropped off the fucking podcast.
It's been a
Okay,
rough week.
we got some questions up. Some of
That's right.
you answered, and we're just gonna go through them. So the first one was, which generation of consoles would you say you're most nostalgic for? Here's what we didn't include. We did not include portables and handhelds because that gets weird. Didn't include the PC because
Yeah.
how could you even quantify that? Um, and that's it. So
Yeah.
the first the first the first option with 0 votes is the NES and the Sega Master System. Did you have an NES or a Sega Master System?
I had an NES, or my mom did. I was
Yeah,
that is on my list
yeah,
for consoles
I
that I'm
had.
nostalgic for because it's a special like type of nostalgia for me, other than just like playing the consoles because I didn't really do that much.
Yeah,
I just
mm,
enjoyed watching my mom play, and that was a
yeah,
special moment. That was my first like actually engagement with games entirely, just watching my mom play uh Kirby games and also just like whatever was on Sega. Like we had the Genesis after that.
yeah.
I remember just how fucking difficult that McDonald's game was. And
uh,
Vector Man, yeah, that game was
Vector Man.
fucking
Hell, wait, we're not there
impossible.
yet. We're not there yet. Hold on, we're still
Yeah.
on NES.
All right, all
Okay,
right, sorry.
so yeah, I had an NES as well. I had a top loader. I can remember playing Duck Hunt with my mom. I can remember playing Super Mario Brothers 3, and I can remember playing the Ninja Turtles game and always being upset when I played the Ninja Turtles game because I fucking loved the Ninja Turtles. Like I fucking loved
Yeah,
the fucking Ninja Turtles, and that game
yeah.
was impossible. And back then, I don't think my mom and my stepdad were together, so it was just me and my mom, and yeah, she couldn't beat that shit. So like I was just like,
Yeah.
I hate this. She's like, yeah, okay, like, but I love it. Like, you're conflicted. Uh, but yeah, I don't really have nostalgia for it. I just, it's cool that I had one. I was upset when she sold it. I was like, damn, tell me, shit. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, she was like, garage sale. I'm like, don't do
Damn.
that. All right, the next one, with actually a majority of the vote here,
Oh, really?
with 28.6%. It's a tied majority. Is the SNES or the SNES if you're nasty, and the Sega Genesis. Uh, this is not where I would put my vote, but I definitely got a lot of good memories with both. Um,
Yeah.
I'll give you a little bit of personal history. So my parents are divorced, though I had kind of like two houses, right?
Mm.
And one house was a SNES house, and the other house was a Genesis house. And there's
Oh
a
shit.
lot of like oh, what are you playing at your mom's house? I'm like, I don't know, this cool game called Mortal Kombat. I was like, oh yeah, well we're gonna get Killer Instinct. I was like, okay. This weird like arms race for my attention like completely benefited me in every fucking way. It was awesome. It's
Yeah,
like, you're playing that X-Men game? Well, we're gonna play Donkey Kong Country. I'm like, these are all amazing.
yeah,
I'm 100% on board. Uh, yeah. But I like
yeah.
them both. But and I definitely got some weird like when you have those like a sensory memories, you can like
Yeah, yeah, I think I know what you
you
mean.
can like hear things.
Right,
Like
right.
I know exactly what a SNES controller feels
Oh
like.
yeah, for sure.
Exact like that concave convex
Yeah, yeah.
button shit. But like I would say like the majority of like my video game music, uh not the majority, like the beginning of me paying attention to video game music was probably on the SNES because
Hmm.
or no, I'm sorry, the Genesis. Actually no, both. Yeah, because Donkey Kong Country has the best fucking soundtrack. Sonic 2 has the best fucking soundtrack. I don't know how to parse these truths, these universal truths.
Yeah,
So,
games that excelled with the limitations of the time, you know.
yeah, dude, dude. Anyways, what's your take on the Genesis and SNES? I cut you off
Yeah,
before
yeah.
about
No,
it.
it's a yeah. The SNES and Sega Genesis are those two nostalgic ones for me, just because I just like I struggled playing those games and I just didn't really understand how you're supposed to play games, so I just watched my mom play games or my my uncle or my cousins play, and that was my enjoyment. Really, just watching them play.
Yeah.
Vector
Okay,
Man,
cool.
Vector Man was impossible.
Vector Man was fucking impenetrable for a child. Because boy, did that thing, like everything looked exactly the same. It was very confusing, but it was also like so beautifully animated that you couldn't
Yeah,
stop looking at it.
it was just like
It was so
wild,
fucked up,
man.
mesmerizing.
I just
I can't beat
you'd
this.
get to like the I think it was like a mine cart or like a train level or something. It was like
Ah,
oh, top
maybe.
down, and like just
Oh,
going
that's
down that
right.
rail, and then the fucking like a boss shows up, and then you're just
That's
supposed to dodge
right.
him or something. That was like the wall. Like I just couldn't get past it, and that was like after like smashing your head against like this giant helicopter boss in the
That's right.
side-scrolling
Fuck
levels.
that fucking helicopter. I
Uh,
will say probably another big sticking point for me with the SNES, particularly, was the first time I played Star Fox, and my
oh
fucking
wow,
brain
yeah.
melted. I
That's their
could
next.
not
That's
understand what was
yeah. That's
happening.
their N64, PS1, Sega Saturn coming up next.
Yeah, but the first Star Fox was like, I don't know. If I remember correctly, it was like a summer where like my family was like particularly poor, so I couldn't go to like summer camp or something, and
Mm,
I had to go stay with my little sister's like babysitter. And she was like some old lady who had some like grandkids, and so they had a SNES in their house, and they had two games, and it was Super Mario World and Star Fox. I already beat the shit out of Super Mario World. I was
yeah,
like, "What is this Star Fox? This looks weird." And I had the weird box with the weird like puppet Star Fox. You know what I mean?
I don't.
You know? Oh, what?
Yeah,
Uh,
I
I'm not.
completely missed the original Star Fox. Like Star Fox 64 is my introduction to it, and that's still kind of like just how it's always been for me. It's like I never like I've only seen like a little bits of like the original one like before that, and it's just always wowed me. It's like wow, it looked like that.
Let me. God damn it! I can't copy over this image. I need you to see this because it's weird.
Okay.
Because it looks like it's like live action. What the fuck? It looks like it's live action, but it ain't because it's on the
Will we
Super
add this
Nintendo.
in post? Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I have seen that. Wow,
it looks like a dude. It's weird. It looks like a puppet
it's
man.
so weird.
He's got no tail. Look how big his hands are.
Is
The
that
whole thing was
is that a
intriguing.
painting? Like that's a painting,
No,
right?
it's a
It's not.
puppet.
It
He's
is a
like a
puppet. Okay.
yeah. I'm pretty sure. Like if you look at even the Japanese art, it looks like a photograph. I
I
mean, oh
see.
shit. You know what? Now that I'm looking at it, I think it is a painting.
Oh fuck.
Oh my God. This is breaking my little brain. Hold on. Look at this. The Japanese cover is a little different. But if you look at
Oh
they
man, that's
look like
so
photos, but
weird.
if you look at Slippy's like neck is clearly painted.
I don't
Like the
know.
lighting on Slippy. Oh man.
Yeah, that could
It was
be.
wild.
Yeah, that could be the quality of the photo. Oh no, yeah. Look at the Falco's beak. Look at the line on
Yeah,
his beak. Yeah,
yeah, you can see the canvas, right?
yeah, yeah. That's freaking
Wow.
wild.
Dude. Anyways, Star Fox, also great music, like 3D gaming. It was just
Yeah,
out of hand. So into it. But yeah, so what was the number? That was a 28.6% of you guys. Uh, we'll move on to the next one.
that's right.
The N64, PS1, Sega Saturn uh, generation, I
Yeah,
guess.
I only interacted with the N64. I had one. Uh,
Hmm.
and then I think I was lended the PS1 from one of my cousins. And but
Hmm.
it was again like games were very difficult. And also like
Yep.
games are very expensive too. Like N64
Yep.
games are $100, man. And
Dude,
like
$100 in 1996 or whatever. Like, holy shit.
hundred
That's a down
dollars?
payment on
Yeah.
something.
Fucking like Hey You Pikachu, $150, man.
It came with a microphone, Mike.
Yeah,
It came with a
it came
microphone.
with an extra peripheral. It was in a huge box, just like
Yeah.
yeah, man. And like I missed a lot of the keystones from
Yeah.
N64. Like I didn't play Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask myself, but I watched them being played, and I was always super fascinated. And we instead of buying games, we'd rent games from a little store called Blockbuster.
I've never
Uh,
heard of it.
oh,
So,
I'm sorry.
little mom and pop
I'm a
shop.
little nostalgic for it.
Are you?
Yeah.
You're nostalgic for them scratched ass discs. You're like, God damn it, didn't work. I gotta go all the way back there now.
You gotta open it first and check.
Dude, you don't understand. If I fucked up that way, like my mom would just be like, "Oh yeah, well guess what? That's what you got for the weekend. I'm not leaving the house again." Like, God, man, try to just push through a fucking four up Dreamcast game. Like, I'm gonna do it. It'll work.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
Uh, how about you?
For me, so the PS1 was like a wonder for me. I have an older uncle who's like a brother, basically. He's like just a few years older than me. But he got one for like getting good grades or something,
Yeah.
and I didn't even know what it was, right? I didn't know what he was getting until like my dad was like, "Oh, we gotta go get like a RCA to antenna whatever converter." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." So we have to take like a hour and a half long road trip to like a specialty Sony store.
Huh?
It was weird. It looked like it all the store looked like it was a pit stop on the side of the road. I couldn't even understand what it was. It was so weird. And we went, and then he also got him like a multi-tap, which is completely useless because we never used it. Do you remember what
Hmm.
multi-taps were?
It sounds familiar, but I don't think I know what it is.
Okay, it looks like a boomerang, and you can connect four controllers to it.
Okay, yeah. Never had one,
Yeah,
but know what you're talking about.
yeah. My dad bought it, and I was like, "What is that?" And he's like, "Oh, it's for for your uncle's for his PlayStation." I'm like, "What the hell's a PlayStation?" Now, mind you, I might have been like 10
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
ish. So I was like, "I don't know what that is." He's like, "You'll see, you'll see." So I get there, and my uncle's super hyped because he couldn't play it on his old tube TV because it had only RCA cables or something, and
Hmm.
you had to like put it into the antenna port or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he loaded up. The first game he played was Metal Gear Solid, and I was like,
Oh,
"What is this?" And just the 3D-ness of it was
yeah.
like blowing my mind. I was like, what's happening?" And I was just sitting there, but like it's one of those things that like made my brain come online. I was like,
Yeah,
"What is happening?" He's like, "Yeah,
dude,
you can't get caught. You don't fight." I'm like, "What do
for
you mean you
sure.
don't fight?" He's like, "No, no, no." I'm like, "You got a gun, shoot him." He's like, "I can't shoot him. They're all gonna come kill me." I'm like, "What? I don't understand what you're talking about."
What are these
So like,
concepts?
yeah, so like watching him play that, all the Final Fantasies kind of like put like RPGs in my mind. Like
Right,
all that
right.
stuff was kind of like that generation kind of introduced me to like the concept of games that aren't just like toys. You get what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
um, but yeah,
They're more of an
but
experience.
yeah, it was like something to think about. It was something
Yeah,
like the idea of like strategizing just never hit me before because I was too young. It was just
right,
like Mario just runs and jumps, man. That's it. That's what we do, you know?
right. Yeah,
Um,
it's funny because I had a similar experience with Mario 64 and just like seeing that being played for the first time and just like coming off like the SNES and like Sega Genesis and all the 2D games there of just watching those being played and then seeing my cousin play Mario 64 for the first time and just being absolutely floored. Absolutely floored by just everything being 3D, that you could just move the camera around and just being legit thinking to myself, there's no way it could be better than this. Like as a kid, just being like, this is it.
it's
We
never gonna look
peaked.
better.
We peaked. It's it.
It looked so real.
It's
Yeah,
so funny.
for sure.
Yeah.
All right, and then the next so just to recap because we talked a bit, it was
Yeah.
NES, Master System, then SNES and the Genesis,
Yeah.
and then we just talked about the N64, PS1, Sega Saturn. I like how none of us have any experience with the Sega Saturn.
Nope.
I've literally only seen one once I got to Japan, and I
Never
see them
seen
kind of
one.
quite often.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look like they're cool looking. I don't know. It looks like um y- y- they look like a box you would find in a video game about aliens. That's the only way I can put it. That
Okay.
makes sense? Like a crate. It looks like an alien crate but squashed. I don't know. Anyways, all right, the next one, and this is where I lie. This is my
Oh shit.
my sweet spot.
Yeah.
It's the Dreamcast, the GameCube, PS2, and Xbox. Now I know it gets weird
Yeah.
because we can't like consoles get funky and I just need to say this for a few people I speak to, particularly a few users of the inclusive nerding server. I promised to call them up by name. Vesuvius and Elite Burb. You totally full of shit. Nobody knows
Oh,
the numbers of the generations. Do you know what
oh my
generation
god.
the fucking SNES is? Like,
Holy
who gives a
shit.
shit? Dude, they're like, dude, the ninth generation of consoles. Nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about. This is insanity. Just say the fucking name of the console. Like,
Please.
please. Thank you. Okay.
We're not
I just want to
historians.
make sure I want to make sure I'm not fucking nuts because it's like, what are you talking about? Uh, I don't know how it's easier to say like the seventh generation instead of the PS3. Like,
Right,
but
yeah.
anyways,
Yeah.
um, yeah, the Dreamcast is in a weird spot because it's kind of like the first, not the first, but it was like an intermediary, I guess. Um, it did just about everything a PS2 could do, but coming out earlier seemed to have given it some disadvantages, I think,
Hmm.
particularly with the controller
Right,
only
yeah.
having one analog stick. But even though like technically the GameCube also has just one analog stick, but it has
Right.
the weird the C stick. That kind of was detrimental, I think, design wise.
Yeah.
But this is my fucking jam. I was like, God, I must have been like in eighth grade when I bought a Dreamcast. I saved up a lot of money. It was like, it was me like deciding like, oh, you know what? Like this is my shit. Like video games are my thing, right? And it was kind of like coming into like who I was, kind of growing out of like the the what'd you call it? Uh, the what it fuck, I forgot the name. What's the game that you Oh my God, hold on. I should have coffee. What are the old games you play that's on a table with springs and a ball bearing and you hit them with flaps?
Oh,
You
spring
you know what I'm
ball
talking about.
bearing? Huh?
Like at an arcade.
Pinball?
Pinball.
Pinball machine?
Pinball. Yeah. You know when you're a kid, I don't know, when I look at children, like I feel like they don't know what they are, right? They don't know where they fit. They have no concept of themselves within like a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They have no concept of their moment, right?
Yeah.
And so they're just the ball and they're being pinned around and they're hitting a bunch of shit and they're
That's
just like,
funny.
I don't know, this is kind of cool. I'll just do this and whatever. But then suddenly, when you're like a teenager, I feel like that shit starts to really focus, right?
Right.
You start to really like dislike things more and really like other things.
Hmm.
And so at that point, I was like, I got a Dreamcast and I was fucking all in. I mean, I was listening to Limp Bizkit. Let me tell you, man, Limp Bizkit was on the ads in the Dreamcast magazine to play, Sega Online. All right.
Yeah.
Uh, Fantasy Star on like just the idea of like online was a thing, right? So we had
Hmm.
Fantasy Star. But I don't care what anybody says. Sonic was cool as shit, and it was amazing.
Soap
I
shoes,
could
man.
not believe how fucking cool he was.
Yeah,
Uh,
some cool shoes.
oh, those soaps! I had
Yeah.
friends with soaps. I didn't have them, but
No,
I
it's too
wasn't gonna pay that
expensive.
money to. Yeah, I was gonna pay to fall on my ass off a
Break
railing
my
or something.
neck, yeah.
Um, for real. Um, the VMU was super cool. Just being able to just like play music on your device. I know you could do it on the PS1. That's not what I'm talking about. It was the idea like there was like a dedicated like this is your music thing. You can put your CDs. Um, just like there was a keyboard for the thing. Like all of it was just super. It felt like the future, and it
Hmm.
felt like I was like riding this like super cool wave of like crazy, weird games like Seaman and Shenmue and fucking Space Channel and Samba de Amigo and all
Yeah.
these like a- anything I want. Like the experiences were so varied on that console that I couldn't like I was never I was always intrigued by something.
Hmm.
Um, and it just hit me at the right time. Like I just started like really skating out in the street, and Jet Set Radio comes out. My dad was working in Japan a lot, so he'd bring me like a bunch. He would buy like these mini discs, these portable players you couldn't get in America.
Yeah.
So and he had this like stereo where you could record CD to mini disc. So we'd make our own like like mix of music, and like instead of having a mixtape, I had mixtape mini discs, and so I would basically just be listening to the Jet Set Radio soundtrack while skating the streets on a device that didn't skip because y'all youngins don't realize when you used to play CDs on a portable CD player, if you sneezed, it was like scratching the record or whatever, and it would just like skip over.
Yeah,
And so that was a big deal. Listen, man, I'm just saying the time, the
yeah.
moment, it was so like developmental for me. Like it was a real turning
It's
point in
so
my
funny
life.
hearing this because like I can absolutely relate because I guess it is just the age thing, right?
It
Because I
really
just
is.
remember
Mm,
it was just on a different side of it for me because it was more about because I was still watching my cousins play on like
mm.
PS1, PS2, but I like my first like console that I really got a hold of and that I really loved was the GameCube.
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
GameCube was just like, first of all, it was like the perfect kid gimmick. It's this tiny little box, and you got little discs. And it's like nothing
Mm-hmm.
else out there ever. There's no cartridge. It's not like a huge like CD. It's its own little thing. It comes in its own unique little packaging. And like the games were gorgeous, man. They were fantastic.
Yeah.
Like Mario
Mm-hmm.
Sunshine, Luigi's Mansion. Like, dude, Luigi's Mansion. That was like I think Luigi's Mansion was like the first game I could actually recall beating and like completing 100%.
Were you like, it's never gonna look better than this?
And yeah, probably. Every time, every year, it's like, no way, they
Holy
can't top
shit.
it. Holy shit!
For me the GameCube came a little later. But yeah, that also like totally changed me up too, because the Dreamcast died shortly after I got one.
Yeah,
So I was getting all these games that were like new to me because I was just playing them.
yeah.
And this is like still pretty early internet. Like people were still using like AIM and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, actually moderator in our Discord, a DJ, he's the one who got me to get a GameCube. Uh he
Oh,
was
cool.
like, yeah, we met in high school and he was cool and we were talking. I think I got like a Game Boy Advance or something. And he was like, "Oh man, you got to get a GameCube because there's a lot of cool games coming out." And we were like, I think he had like either I had one or he had like a subscription to like Nintendo Power. He was like showing me all this cool stuff for Wind Waker. And
Oh, yeah.
I think the only Zelda game I played at that point was Link's Awakening on the Game Boy.
Mhm.
So I was like, well, I don't know, maybe I'll get it. And um and so I got a GameCube with with Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Uh and I didn't know anything that was happening in Smash Brothers. I was like, I know Mario, I know Donkey Kong,
Mhm.
like Yoshi. Who the fuck are all these other cool people? Like I didn't know anything. And then he told me, he was like, go pre-order if you pre-ordered Wind Waker, it came with you can get Ocarina of Time for free
Oh, shit.
with Master Quest. It was like the pre-order bonus. And
Damn.
that's when I played Ocarina of Time, and my brain like just goo. I could not believe what was happening. I was like, that might have been maybe the earliest times I can remember of thinking about like the idea of like designing a game, because I remember I was
Yeah.
thrown off because you couldn't jump, but then like I remember complaining to my stepdad. I was like, man, you can't jump in this game. It's
Mhm.
weird. And he's like, yeah, but it looks like you don't even have to. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, everything's space. You can just hop over. And I was like, oh, whoa, wait a minute.
Oh.
Like they made the whole world like this. I was like, "What?" Just, I was like
Yeah.
14 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
it
also
kind
really
of,
funny to hear from a game design perspective of that being like the first time for you, and I can also again relate to that notion because like uh I would uh I would actually spend more time out of games because we were renting games still and didn't have a lot of time to play them myself and also still struggled completing a lot of them like going back to the N64 era with the Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and a future for like Luigi's Mansion. I would actually just like sit in the living room and we had this like undrying clay and I would just remake like things from the game out of clay. Like
oh,
Luigi's Mansion, like I built entire buildings like brick by brick like little tiny like and just built rooms and populated them, put like things in. I built like a treasury where I made every single coin by like little tiny coins, every single one. And then just like played the game as like Mario and Luigi, like little figures I made of them and just like in clay, just like have them collect all the coins and stuff like that. So
That's dope.
yeah.
Yeah, it's weird how like yeah, back maybe they still kind of do that now. But there's like a weird translation. Like I remember even like when I was super into Jet Set Radio, I would draw all the symbols from all the crews on like on whatever paper I can get a hold of, or like my school agenda or whatever. Um
Yeah.
yeah, there used, I don't know, before the internet, right?
Oh.
Or the internet got socialized. Blah. Uh then
Yeah.
everything went down.
Everything's
All right,
downhill
we
from
should keep
there.
going with the list because
We should,
we
we
got
should.
a lot to
Well,
cover.
this was like our prime time one, right?
Yeah,
So,
our prime time.
uh,
Yeah, yeah, that generation. And then also, yeah, at the same time, Red Alert 2 was happening.
oh man, yeah,
On the side of like PC gaming,
yeah,
it was like the RTS Renaissance. You had that. You had
yeah.
StarCraft. You had Warhammer was just around the corner, right? It was 40K games.
Hmm.
Dawn of War. Oof, oof,
It's
oof.
popping
Okay.
off, man. It was
Yeah.
popping off.
All right, then the last, oh, not the last one.
We had
Next one,
PS3, 360, and Wii.
and the Wii. So we got 14.3% of you were all about that. I mean, yeah, I liked it. But by then I was already like in college, so
Yeah.
it's hard to. I was busy. I loved it, but I was busy.
I
And
do have to say we didn't even mention the Xbox.
no,
We
we
didn't
didn't.
I I
Correct.
think the only thing you played on Xbox was like Halo, Halo
Halo. Yeah,
2.
that was it. Yep.
Like after
Yeah,
school, you
because
just go. Like I remember a buddy of mine had an Xbox, and his dad owned a Army Navy store in the mall, and we
oh
after school we'd just go there and just hang out in the back room and play Halo.
oh, dude.
Four
Yeah,
player
like
split
Halo is
screen.
it
Uh,
was it was a huge like it was like a phenomenon back then, but
yeah,
I never bought an Xbox. But like
yeah,
I played probably just as much Halo as anybody else, just because like uh I don't know how much I can give away here. I'll say like every week my group of friends we'd play Halo every Friday at their house. Multiple people would come with their multiple Xboxes and they would like LAN up, and it was
oh damn,
absolute anarchy.
that's insane.
Um
Yeah,
yeah, but I was terrible at it, and I'm
uh,
still terrible at first person shooters. But yeah, uh yeah, it was definitely a thing. It was super cool. But a lot of the other Xbox games I couldn't even care about, or I
hmm,
already had on my Dreamcast. I was just like, I don't,
yeah,
I'm not, yeah. Or I could just get on the GameCube, and
yeah.
how much was an Xbox when they came out? They were like $600 or something, right?
Were
Like
they that crazy like that? I don't know. I never had one.
something wildly expensive. I was like,
Yeah,
I cannot convince my parents while I
yeah,
have a perfectly working like a GameCube to
yeah.
be like, hey, and by then I think I was already working by like my junior year. I think I was already working, so it was like
Hmm.
I didn't even have a whatever. I was like trying to pay for other shit. Like I
Right.
wasn't gonna save for a year for an Xbox. Like, and I think the 360 came out in oh, when did that come out? Oh, 05 or oh
I think
06?
05 might have been
Oh
05.
shit, actually, yeah, I think there were the 360 might have already been out. Anyways, whatever. I like it was cool, but I wasn't good at it, so I just you know.
Yeah.
And that kind of those kind of environments were not like conducive to learning, you know? You
Right,
couldn't
right.
be like, hey, how do I get better at this? It'd be like, you get good, and then they just frag
Yeah.
you, and you're like, okay, cool, thanks, bro. I'm
Yeah.
leaving. I
Fuck you
hate this
too.
place. I'm gonna go play fucking Billy
Zelda.
Hatcher on my GameCube. Fuck you guys.
Uh,
That
I
game's
feel like
awesome.
Halo might have been like our generation's like um GoldenEye. Like I
Yeah,
remember GoldenEye like being like really popular on the N64, but again, like I just didn't really engage with it personally.
yeah,
Like
same.
it took me a while, like as like a big thing for me, like especially when I was young, is like I was like really anti-violence. Like really
What?
just did not like violence in anything. I didn't want to see violent. movies. I didn't want to see violent
Oh my
games,
god.
and it
Wait, I
wasn't
thought you
like
like love like RoboCop and shit like that.
yeah,
That
that was the awakening point for sure.
the awakening.
That's when I started watching that stuff.
He bloomed when he saw RoboCop.
RoboCop's great. Um,
Okay, cool. All
it's a very
right.
selective process, apparently.
Yeah, I'll say. I mean, you can't not say that the Xbox is a big deal.
Yeah.
Um, I remember like a friend of mine coming to my house, brought his Xbox, and like we played like Splinter Cell. I was like, that's so cool, and then I just got it for the GameCube. Um, things like that. I mean, it was also a time when like the things were evening out as far as consoles were concerned in a way that was like it 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 all just started coming down to pettiness, right? It was like, oh, you're gonna play it on a GameCube, and it's like, well, I mean, yeah, it looks fine. I don't,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a thing. Well, that controller, yeah, it's fine. Okay,
Console
it's not a
wars.
big, yeah. It reignited, but it felt like it reignited not because of like the SNES and the Genesis has had like considerable differences in like software,
Hmm.
but like that generation, it started just like everything's just it was just more convenient. It's like you're just gonna get it anywhere. It doesn't really
Hmm.
matter. But I always felt like, because I'm biased, that the GameCube had better exclusives like Zelda, Metroid Prime, uh, for a while, Resident Evil 4, and
Oh
like that.
right,
Do you
yeah.
remember the Capcom 5?
No.
Do you remember that big? Okay, so there's a moment where people were freaking out because Nintendo, the N64, everyone said it was doing poor. It did poorly because it didn't have third party support. So they're like, okay, is the GameCube going to have third party support? And Capcom pledged to make 5 exclusive games for the GameCube. Those 5 games were Resident Evil 4, Beautiful Joe, Mega Man NT Warrior, PNO3, and another game I can't remember that I don't think was very good. I can't fucking remember. PNO3 was a weird game that I bought because I was totally bought into it, into like being a the Nintendo dork. It was not good.
Yeah.
It was like you're like a robot lady who's dancing and shooting. It lasted like 2 hours. It was ridiculous.
Oh.
Um, it looked really cool though, but yeah. Beautiful Joe is great.
Oh
Resident
right,
Evil
yeah.
4 is great.
Yeah.
The Mega Man game was atrocious. It was the worst. It was not. It was like the Battle Network character playing in like a regular Mega Man style.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, and it just all the animations were weird. It's just boring, not good. But that was like a big deal, and then those games ended up getting ported to
Yeah.
PS2 and I think even Xbox. I don't know. I feel like it just everything kind of like it got real petty, I think. Like the differences. It was just like a matter of like, what do you have now? Because consoles were insanely expensive. It's just like I can't buy these things. Like you just get one and that's it. And I was a kid, so you know, you
Yeah.
play what you got.
That's right.
Uh yeah. All right. And so we PS3, 360, Wii, that's cool. And then I think one person yeah, one vote for the PS4, the X Bone. I'm gonna keep calling it that for the rest of my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
The Wii U, and then I put the Switch because I guess it's kind of in between because console generations don't matter. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
if you're nostalgic for the Switch, that's cool. I don't think I can be nostalgic for anything that isn't like at least a decade old. Right? I don't know if that
Yeah, I
really
guess
fits.
I guess it
So,
could be a bit of a subjective thing, but
hmm.
yeah. So
I mean, there's
I
definitely like,
agree.
yeah, I think there's like moments that
Yeah.
that I really loved on those other consoles, but yeah, I don't know if I could be like this. I feel like nostalgia is not. It's kind of proof that video games and media or art in general is not just it's a not just a thing. It's a time and a place, you
Right.
know.
Right. Yeah.
And like when I think about the Dreamcast, I can't not think about me like greasing up my rollerblades, like the ball bearings in the wheel so I can go faster, or like getting ridiculously large headphones because I want to look like Beat from Jet Set Radio, or drawing like all the characters on just all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's all together and being made fun of for it. All of that together, all the trauma. is part of the picture, and so
Especially the
like
trauma.
especially the yeah, it was weird because I think where I was, it wasn't like the worst neighborhood, but boy, did everybody like pretending it was when they were my age. Everybody
Yeah.
wanted to be like a thug tough guy, and I'm like, it's not that bad. And
Yeah.
my house is very like weird. My house is very like my parents are very liberal, chill people, and so there's a lot of like industrial metal and like new wave 80s music and stuff playing in my house, and like the thug gangster stuff just didn't fly. Not that they would care, but there's it just wasn't us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I couldn't fake it. I was like, no, I'm a dork. I like I guess I like disco? I don't know. Like I don't know what I'm listening to, but I like it. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um yeah.
Everyone has like their
Anyways,
Jinko jeans phase, I guess.
oh God. Yeah, well, that's the thing. When the Jinko jeans phase was coming through, it just didn't hit my school because you were a rocker. Remember that bullshit? Ooh, you fucking rocker? Like, yeah, I get what? I
No,
don't even.
no, that was not in my
That was the
hometown.
thing where I was from. Yeah, it was like you're either a cool guy or you're a weirdo. And then also, I have to mention it. Like I think our generation when we were kind of like blooming and you were watching RoboCop, uh like a lot of terrible things happen at the same fucking time and a lot of cool things are happening at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was like Turn of the Millennium, but also Columbine, but also The Matrix, but also 9/11. It's just like all like wrapped
Yeah.
up in a package, and I'm just holding onto my GameCube and being like Sonic's cool and just
Yeah.
whatever. And
Please.
Leonard Nimoy is in Seaman. Like this is all weird. Uh, anyways,
Yeah.
all right. So the next big question. Well, that took what 40 minutes to get to our first one.
All right.
Um, yeah, we'll rip through these
Yeah.
real quick. The next big question is what would you say is your favorite game? I put parentheses S of games of all time. That might have been a mistake on my part. We briefly spoke about it. I should have thought about it a little more. Um,
Uh,
so these are not attached to any names. I mean, they are, but I'm not going to separate them. So we're
right,
just
right.
going to flow through them. Somebody wrote Pokemon Silver, Wind Waker, Tears of the Kingdom. Are we going to say that
These
was a
are
great choice or bad choice? Like,
favorite games of all time.
do we want to rate them? You want to?
I don't know. I
They're
think
anonymous.
these are great. These are great
Yeah. Okay.
choices.
I'm down. Yeah. Great choice. Definitely silver over gold. Team
Yeah.
silver all day.
Tears of the Kingdom is brand new, and like I think that I this year's been insane.
Yeah.
This year's been insane for just like huge games, and they're all coming out, and it's just like these are bangers, man. Like these are games that are going to be remembered for a long time for sure.
This year is gonna go down in gaming history for sure. For just
Yeah.
the rapid. I'm out of money. It's just, and I'm also
Get
out of time.
yeah.
I still want to play like Baldur's Gate. I've never even played one of those. I'm like, that looks really good, but I don't know if I have a month of my life I can give away to something. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I get that completely.
All right, next, Fantasy Star Online. Big kudos to you.
Yeah.
A Link to the Past. I hate that game, but it's cool that you like it. I really hate that game. Resident Evil 4 OG.
The
I'm
original.
with it.
Yeah.
The original. I really like that game too.
Original's the real
Next,
fun.
yeah, the next one is a second vote for Resident Evil 4.
It
Very
could
nice.
be any of them. Could be the
Could be
original,
any of
could
them.
be the remake. Why not both?
Well, take a stance, damn it.
I live on the
The
fence.
next one, this is where I made my errors. Depends on the genre and generation, but some of my favorites include 007 GoldenEye, Command and Conquer Red Alert. I
Oh,
hope they mean
I
two
know who
because the
this
first
is.
one's okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
they do
call them
the
out.
Riddler too.
Okay, Silent Hill, Metal Gear Solid, Twisted Metal, BioShock, Shadow of the Colossus, Arkham City, Insomniac Spider-Man, The Last of Us, and God of War Ragnarok.
Oh my goodness.
Thanks.
Goodness gracious.
That's cool. Pretty good list. Pretty good list. Um, let's see. Next one. This is what is it called? A Giga Chad move right here. StarCraft. There you go.
StarCraft is their favorite
That's
game.
it holds up, frankly.
I never
Uh,
got into it. I never got into
Get the
StarCraft. I
fuck
was
out of here.
all in on Red Alert
What?
2. Red
Yeah, but
Alert 2 to
StarCraft
me
is.
was like the only one. That was the only one. And I
That's
have
fair.
my my science teacher in the 6th grade to solidify that for me, just being like, yeah, this is a cool game. Why don't you check it out when you're done with your homework? Yeah, sure, all right. And just mind blown immediately. This is the coolest goddamn thing ever.
Was it when Einstein shows up and tells you about his time
Well, that's
machine?
the thing is like I didn't even know about like the story mode when I was playing in school because we'd only like do skirmish mode. Like the teacher
Ah,
would tell
right.
us how to do skirmish mode, and then like I got to the game for myself on my PC, which is just like a CVS like payment based like monthly PC. It was very very super cheap and just like something easy to get, and yeah, just absolutely fell in love with Red Alert 2. Like
The-
just absolutely just the characters, just the humor,
Yeah.
everything about it is just fantastic.
All right.
Anyways,
Next,
StarCraft.
next game. That wasn't even mentioned. Next game.
I mentioned that
uh,
was mine.
Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of Sky. I've never played one of those, but I
Yeah,
hear they're
me
good.
neither.
Gorilla Gun 3. I've never heard of this,
Never
and
heard
the
of it
person
either.
they claim they're bad at choosing favorites, so
Okay.
take that with a grain of salt, with a gorilla grain of salt. Somebody wrote Final Fantasy 7.
All right,
Uh,
understandable. It's
let's
a
yeah,
pretty popular
yeah.
choice. Yeah.
I'll relax. Sure, it's fine. Uh, um,
Relax.
uh, next entry. F-Zero. Nobody talked about how good that fucking game is anymore. It bothers me. Maybe now
Never
with
played
F-Zero
it.
99.
Played it.
Fucking so good.
Yeah.
It's a great racing
It
game.
looks like it would be
Um, uh,
absolutely totally my alley. I love that
Mode 7,
that
dude.
vibe.
That's all I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Mario Kart 8. Boo. Super Ghouls and Ghosts. What's BG? Baldur's Gate 3,
Baldur's
I'm
Gate
assuming.
3,
And Halo 2. The one with the plant? Okay,
the
cool.
plant.
It's the dual wielding. That's what it was,
Yeah, it
right?
was the dualies and the shield.
In the sheet, yeah. What else? Next. Oof. All right,
Oh
here we
boy,
go.
here we go.
All right,
You want me to
Mischief
get this? You want
Makers.
me to get this one? You
You
want
you
to
want to take it? Go
Yeah,
for
I
it.
can
Just
take
run
it.
through it. All right,
All right,
go ahead.
Mischief Makers, Breath of Breath of Fire 2.
You got it? You got
What?
it?
I don't know if I have it anymore. I'm stuck on the second one.
So
Fantasy
many.
Star 4,
Very
Shadowrun
good
for
game.
Sega Genesis, Zelda. Oh, all of them. All the
Basically,
Zeldas. Chrono
you list them.
Trigger.
Uh,
Final Fantasy 4. Baldur's Gate
based.
1. 13 Sentinels. Aegis Rim. Shin Megami Tensei. And Red Dead
Hmm.
Redemption 1.
See, Red Dead Redemption. I get nostalgia for the times we played Red Dead
Oh, it was
Redemption because those
such
are
a
some
good
of the
time.
fucking funnest.
It
Anyways,
was
we don't gotta do that
fantastic.
now. Great, good list.
Just
Good
watch
list.
out for the cougars.
Next,
That's all you gotta know.
yeah, fucking land sharks. Uh, Someone wrote Halo franchise.
Okay.
You're right. Halo Wars is a very good game. I love Halo Wars. It is. It really is. It's good.
It's alright.
Uh,
I like it.
Someone wrote Metroid. The first one. Okay.
Alright.
Halo 3. Sure.
Okay.
And Banjo
Yeah,
Kazooie.
I think I know what that is.
All right. Uh, next question. Oh wait, give me your favorite game of all time. Go. Give me one.
Red
Don't
Alert 2.
don't stick around. Okay. Um,
And then it was gonna be because we have what's the next question? Other you go ahead.
Spiritual
Sorry.
successors.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. I'm gonna. It depends on like the day of the week, but today
yeah.
I'll say Wind Waker. I'll say
Wind
it's Wind
Waker's
Waker.
today, all right?
It's just shuffles between. It's like Wind Waker, Metal Gear Solid 3,
Yeah,
and Chrono Trigger. Just depends how I feel that day.
yeah.
Um, all right. Next, are there any spiritual successors that live up to their inspired work? Whoever wrote this question is a fucking wordsmith. Wow. Just mwah.
It was you, Ollie.
I don't know what you're talking about. Dredge and Nexamon. I don't know
Next
anything about
one.
those.
Dredge is a new one that came out this year, I think.
Okay.
It's an indie game about
Nexamon.
Cthulhu fishing. Yeah, it's pretty
All
interesting.
right. Nexamon sounds like a Pokemon type
Yeah,
thing.
maybe.
I don't know.
Never heard
I
of
don't
it.
know. Never heard of it. Crosscode. I've heard of it, but Never
Yeah,
looked
yeah.
into
I
it.
think Matt's the single T. He
Oh
uh
yes.
he uh he might have put this on the list. But
Oh man,
he's brought it
call him
up
out.
multiple times.
Yep, yep.
Looks good.
Sorry. Next one is The Evil Within 1, in my opinion, but not everyone agrees. Yo, that's totally fine. Let
Hey
me tell
man,
you something.
that's why it's yours, man. It's
Hey,
your favorite and spiritual successor.
I'm gonna give you guys a little hint here, all right? A little bit of life advice from an old man, all right?
Here we go.
Usually, if most people don't agree on your opinion about media, it's because they're fucking wrong. Okay? Just
Damn.
don't take it that way. It's fine.
There you go.
Stardew Valley surpasses its inspiration. Also true. Stardew
Yeah.
Valley is very good. Um, BioShock is a spiritual successor to System Shock. I never played System Shock, but I like BioShock.
System Shock is interesting. BioShock, absolutely a good, great spiritual successor to that.
Okay. Someone wrote, not really. Thanks. Love
Understandable.
that game. Great game.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. Someone wrote one of the right answers. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. Holy shit. That game is exactly what it wants to be, what it needed to be, with the right music and the right controls. It is. It is. I will talk about it at the end of the year. I'll put it that way.
Yep, yep. We'll talk about it
It's
even
up
more.
there.
Hopefully, I'll
Yeah.
have been able to play it by then.
You need to, sir.
I would
You
like to,
need
yes.
to. Sonic Mania, 100%. But I don't know if that counts as a spiritual successor because it's literally like published by Sega and it's
Mm-hmm.
just a Sonic game. Um, but yeah, it's up there. It's great. Next answer. No idea. Love that one.
Yep, great one.
Good game.
Yep,
Mhm.
I'm nostalgic
Again,
for it.
we got a few other ones that are a few repeats. Stardew Valley, Blaze Blue.
Okay.
Is that fighting game?
I'm not sure.
Hmm. Bioshock 1,
Hmm.
City Skylines.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah,
Like
okay.
SimCity.
SimCity,
Yeah.
yeah. Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. And somebody else wrote Bloodstained as well right after. Said it's a great new updated Igavania. I don't know what that means.
I guess isn't that the creator's name?
Maybe
Iga? I
Iga.
think that could be it. I'm not
I don't know.
familiar with that franchise or the new game, but it's one of those
Yeah.
games that where I've always wanted to like give it a shot, but I just haven't
Mm-hmm.
gotten there because my adversity towards side scrollers. So.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I I've tried. I've started many a Castlevania and been like, right. And then I like guns. You know,
the style of music's really cool.
the music's great. The visuals are great.
Yeah.
I like the horror aesthetic,
Hmm.
but the gameplay always kind of turns me off.
Yeah.
Um,
Feeling.
Next one. Someone wrote Halo 4 was good. That's not a spiritual successor. What are we doing? That's an F, sir. An F.
I don't know. Halo 4 is.
Shovel Knight. I don't know. What is Shovel Knight successing? I think it's its own
I
thing,
think
no?
Shovel Knight's just like everything side scroller. Everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't. It's
It's a
just like an
spiritual
old
successor to
thing.
everything.
Yeah, right. Someone wrote no. Well, thank
Yeah.
you.
All right.
Thank you for
Appreciate
that.
it.
And the last one, Stardew Valley
It's
and Lies
Liza
of P.
P.
What is Lies of P successing?
Bloodborne? I don't know.
Pinocchio.
The original story, yeah.
The original, yeah. Stardew Valley wins. All right.
Stardew
Anyways,
Valley did it. They did that. Well deserved. It's a great
yeah.
game. I didn't even think
It,
of that, but it absolutely is there. The thing is,
Liv's playing it
I
right
never
now.
played the original, or I never played what's it?
Harvest Moon.
Harvest Moon. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, me
Um,
neither. But I would try it after playing Stardew. Like it makes me.
yeah.
I would have never thought like, oh, a farming simulator. But
Mhm.
after, and honestly, like I don't do any of the social stuff in Stardew Valley. I don't talk to anybody.
Really?
Like I don't have
Oh
time for that
no.
shit. Yeah, like everybody looks kind of like I don't know, dopey. Everyone's like, oh, I got a problem. Like, yeah, shut up. I got pumpkins I gotta grow. Get out of my face. I'm busy. I
I
don't got
think that's
time.
totally fair. I think that's totally fair. I even like I love like CRPGs, like Dragon Age, Baldur's Gate, all that stuff.
Yeah,
And sometimes like where I'm just playing those games where I just like I don't feel like just like talking to people at camp.
yeah.
I just want
I
to
don't want.
go out
Yeah,
and explore
yeah.
and
Let me
play
go
it
do
my
the
way.
thing. Right.
Yeah, so
I got eggplants. They need watering. I don't fucking.
It's
You're
all
an
about the
alcoholic.
ale, man.
Tough.
You gotta get the hops. You gotta grow the
Gotta get the
hops.
hops, man,
Gotta get them
and the
hops.
grapes. You gotta get that wine.
That's
Get that
right.
wine going.
That's right.
I'm a wino. All right.
Blueberries.
The next question. Would you prefer to see more remakes of older celebrated titles or ports?
Oh, this was, oh, wow.
70% of you said remakes,
That's pretty
while
wild.
28% of you said ports. What do you think, Mike? What's your opinion?
I'm for both, honestly. Like,
That's a bullshit opinion. You need to pick
I
one.
said,
It's
I
not and.
established earlier in the
All
podcast
right.
that I live on the fence. I'm comfortable here.
Guys fucking
Yes.
perched over here.
I'm perched on the fence.
Ah.
But yeah, so like my stance on it is I think remakes have a lot of potential to be great. We see that every so often. A lot of well, the industry is flooded with like remasters, right? And like well, that's not really a remake, is it? That's just a
No,
re-release.
that's a port,
That's
right?
basically a port, yeah. So
Huh.
uh yeah, I'm all for remakes, especially if they're just like giving it full gas, right? Just like going all in. They love this source material, and it shows in the remake, right? Like for the recent Resident Evil 4, they did a fantastic job. All the Resident Evil remakes are pretty damn good. Um, and but at the same time, when a really good port comes around, or like a game that I want to be ported, I'll just take it at like I just need that ported, please. Or like a good
Mm-hmm.
example, like Monster Hunter 4, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, please just port that. Like,
Do
hey,
ya? Do you
yeah,
really?
I would absolutely love to play Monster
You
Hunter
didn't
4
even
again.
remember that fucking the chaotic Magala was in it. I'm talking about Magala like it's my neighbor. You know, Magala.
Like the Magala, you know. Is that a status condition? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, it's I got the Magala. You gotta go see a doctor. Um, okay.
How about you?
Here's the deal, Mike. I feel like remakes are fine,
Uh,
but I don't like the idea that games need to be remade. That concept to me is
yeah, that's a
horseshit.
little weird.
Would people say like this game deserves a remake? Like art doesn't deserve anything. Don't fucking personify your media, but also like I feel like a port is better in the sense that making it available is enough for me. Um, but I also think remakes tend to you lose something in the translation, and like yeah, Resident Evil ones are pretty good. Um, I would say probably the best remake I've ever played was the first Resident Evil remake on the GameCube. It's mind blowing how
Yeah,
that game still scares the shit out of me
it's a
on the
fantastic
limp.
remake.
Yeah, it's great. But then when they remake that remake and they don't, they remove tank controls because the tank controls are terrible. Like
Well,
if you
yeah,
can't
at
see the
that point, I feel like that is just a true remake. Like it is just be a game fully remade, right?
oh man, we gotta have a fucking whole episode about tank controls.
Tank
I
controls,
feel like what you lose there is the sense of like of unease,
right?
right?
I
And that was
agree.
the
Yeah, absolutely.
like it was a design choice.
Yeah,
It was intentional. It wasn't an accident. It
you're
wasn't
not
like
supposed to be in precise control.
exactly. And you're not supposed to you, um it wasn't like a poorly implemented control scheme. It was like an intentionally
Right.
like applied control scheme and
Exactly.
that some people sucked at it. Well, tough. But
Yeah.
whatever, y'all got your dreams anyways, right? Now we get fucking Mr. X following me all over the damn police station. Just nothing stops that
Yeah.
guy.
I mean,
Wonderful. Thanks.
Resident Evil 2 is like they added so much more to that game, right? They just like Resident Evil 2 is kind of like they're just like Resident Evil 2 and 3, they kind of like came out really close to each other, the original release date. They didn't get
Yeah,
like that polished up remake like the first game did.
yeah.
Um, and so like years later, finally we get something and it's just like a complete overhaul, which is just really cool to see, in my opinion. But yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Like taking the control scheme away from that type of game would be weird. But yeah, they still haven't gone back to the first one. Maybe Capcom actually feels like the first one's in a perfect place because it is, you know.
Well, that's the problem. We're talking about Capcom. Those guys will fucking remake everything a thousand times.
It's
And the
true.
only reason they don't remake any Monster Hunter is because there's a Monster Hunter that comes out every year.
Yeah, it's an
If they
annual
had the
release.
time, they would. You know it.
They know, you know, they will. But even then, they still did
What?
generations. So
Exactly. What is it's just yeah. I'll say this though. I wouldn't be surprised if like the upcoming whatever anniversary stuff is some kind of
oh
remake. Even if
yeah,
like the first, just like a restarting, like with all the extra hunter, like all the different weapons and stuff,
yeah,
like updated systems. I wouldn't mind that. Like
yeah.
I'm not saying they're bad inherently. I'm just saying that games are a time and a place, you know. And so there's a
Hmm.
lot of like like even like Cyberpunk, it works because it's learned from the past, right?
Hmm.
And it fits, like it's got the right amount of like a quality of life stuff that doesn't get in the way of the core design and the feel that they're going for. If you can't capture the feel, or if you compromise the feel, I think you lose sight of what you're actually trying to what
Right,
makes the game good. And I think people um they put quality of life on such a high pedestal for some things that are just like mildly difficult. But then if a game is completely impenetrable, then you're a piece of shit because you can't beat them. You can't beat a game like that,
I
and you need to
guess.
get good. It's just like this weird double standard that I just I'd be just as happy if I could just play my Resident Evil 2 on my Vita, which I can't, and that's good enough for me,
I
right?
gotcha. Yeah.
I don't need to see Metal Gear Solid 1 remade in the
I,
Fox engine.
I, I,
No fucking thanks.
I feel
And
like
I'm
it's
like,
also.
ugh, I'm
Go
already
ahead.
on the fence with the 3 remake. Don't, I'm gonna start. Listen,
He's revving
I'll
up.
play it, but fuck, man, you're fucking with gold. You know what I mean? And you and
Ah,
I'm gonna just gonna have to be that guy. I'm gonna be the guy going, this is better than the last one. And people, "Oh, but I'm like, all right, fine, man. But you know what? Like,
I
I,
feel like a big part of it's like generational though too. Like a
yeah, they're
like
spoiled.
like if you think about like if we're gonna use Monster Hunter as an example, like if they were to announce like okay, here's Monster Hunter 1 and 2 remade, they just combine it into a fully new game. It's on the same style as like Monster Hunter World, right? Nicely
Yeah.
polished and all that stuff, with
Hmm.
all the updated systems.
Hmm.
I would say like 90% of the current player base has never played Monster Hunter 1 or
For
2.
sure.
So
For sure. Yeah.
like there's a lot to be gained in certain things like that where it's like
There
it's
is.
not necessarily like it's like harping on nostalgia. It's more so like we're just revisiting this time and we're just gonna like really give it the gas and just like
Yeah, but there's
give it all the shiny bells and whistles that we can with modern technology.
I'll tell you what, the difference with specifically with Monster Hunter is that that shit still carries,
Yeah.
right? Like the movements are still the same. Like you can you're gonna be missing things, right? But if you pick up Monster Hunter 1 and you're
Hmm.
playing Sword and Shield, besides having to use the right stick to do your
Oof.
attacks,
Yeah.
um, the timing is gonna be the same. The frame counts are gonna be the same. Like everything is like the DNA has been like it's still very it's pure. You know what I mean? And it's been refined over time.
Right.
So going back to that well, I don't think would make such a big difference. But when like the core control scheme is completely revamped, it throws me off,
I get
and
you. I
and
think
it
that's
makes me
fair.
and it's good for new people who want to experience something. Like
Right, right.
if you never had a PS3, like I didn't have a PS3, and I got to play The Last of Us remastered on the PS4. I thought that was cool. First time I played that game, it was amazing.
Hmm.
Um, and, like that's totally fine. If your only access to Metal Gear Solid 3 was on the 3DS, you'll fucking go for it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if we're talking about like the optimal way in when it comes to like design and the time and energy and resources spent on a game, I would prefer that like creators get to do more crazy stuff or improve on a like I'd prefer a sequel to a remake. I don't know. Or just do something new, you know?
Yeah, I totally get
But
that. And yeah, Capcom in particular is in a weird space
oh my
because
God,
like
they're the worst perpetrators of this shit,
yeah,
dude.
like if we're talking about like Resident Evil, like a lot of people like it's a very mixed crowd for like the new Resident Evil games, which are the first person ones. And
Yeah,
but the remakes are just like winning all the accolades because I guess they just have like these different teams working on these games, right? And
yeah,
the remake teams are just like fucking all in, just like recreating
yeah.
entire systems, whereas like the newer games kind of feel lazy in their design, which is
Which
I
I
feel
think
like
that's a
it's fair.
testament to like how strong the design was of the original games.
Yeah,
Honestly, it's like the haunted house idea.
yeah,
Just it works on like on two different levels.
right,
Nemesis being a thing was like that was crazy back then.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, but let's never forget about the weird Resident Evil games like Dead Aim when you're on a cruise ship and
that's
it's a
right.
light gun game
Yeah,
or fucking Outbreak. Outbreak was one of my favorite ones on the PS2. You could do it's online co-op. You get like classes and shit. If you're a doctor, you can mix herbs into pill bullets and shoot your friends to heal them, dude. It
that's
was
awesome.
awesome.
That's
Fucking
great.
and Hunk was in that game.
Hell
Anyways,
yeah,
hell
instant
yeah, Hunk.
instant success.
Zombie lions. You have to go to the zoo.
Oh
Get attacked
God,
by zombie toucans and shit. It was
that's fucked
horrifying.
up.
Yeah, it was. All right,
Yeah,
we have
right.
an event we have to go to. So let's try to wrap
That's
this
right.
up. We got additional comments or questions you want us to address on the podcast. This is kind of just where people can write whatever they want, and boy, do they. But some of these we might address in another episode,
Okay.
um, and some we might ignore. So you'll have to tune in to find out. Someone wrote, these are all anonymous. So someone wrote, remakes aren't so bad because of the sheer amount of game releases today. I guess.
There's a lot of games that
Uh,
come out every
there's
year.
too many games. There's too many fucking games.
So many.
Um, Someone said, I don't know if this is like a command. Support digital preservation efforts because as gens go on, it will be increasingly difficult to fight against corporate interests.
Oh wow.
Eh, I don't know, man.
Sounds like a
We
lot
could
of
talk
work.
about that some other time. Yeah, but like, I think it's in the corporate interest to preserve their games because they can just re-release them.
Yeah,
They can continue
there
to make
have been a
money.
lot of big points this year though. Like a lot of like the Nintendo shop going offline, all those games. Uh, like I think for the 3DS,
Eh,
right? And the Wii U
yeah,
shop and stuff.
yeah.
Like
The
all
Wii
those games
U's
are going away apparently.
Yeah, but discs exist and like the expectation that any company should do a thing in perpetuity because preservation, like
Yeah, I
I
get
don't,
you.
and let's be real, half the people complaining about preservation are just pirates anyways. They're just gonna steal that shit. They're gonna like if you go to anybody saying like, "Oh man, this is sad," inevitably the next comment is just use this emulator instead. Like, well, then you guys don't really care about preservation. What you care about is like I can do whatever I want whenever I want, right?
Yeah,
And oh man, now I can't even pay them for it, but you weren't paying them to begin with, so I
yeah.
don't know. I find that shit to be
I
suspicious.
find it hard for myself to go back to older games anyway, just because of how just how much little time I have
Yeah, we're
these days.
busy.
So
It's rough,
yeah.
yeah. But
Anyway,
then I also kind of feel bad because like I boot up my PS5 and I'm like, man, I kind of want to play through Ghost of Tsushima again. It's like I've been playing this game for 5 years. Like,
yeah.
what the fuck? Play something else. All right, next. I prefer no remakes and ports. Rather see new games, new ideas.
Well, I
Okay,
guess
that's a
that's
stance. I like
fair.
that.
That's a
It's like fuck
radical step.
everybody. I think I kind of agree with this in a way. Like,
Yeah,
not so much with ports, but just as long as things are made available,
yeah.
you don't have
I
to
feel
port
like
it.
this is just
But
basically the indie game scene. Like that's basically all it is, right? They're not remaking shit most of the
no,
time. Like
they're building off the ideas,
yeah, new
right?
ideas all the time.
Yeah. Let's see. Should remakes strive to be different from the source material or stay true to form? 1 minute answer. Go.
Pass.
You always make me the bad guy, Mike. You always set me up and knock me down. They should be the same. They should be as close to it as possible. If you're gonna remake something, you should try to capture the feelings, the time, the moment, and there's a lot of things you have to consider to do that. If you're gonna make a game drastically different, just make it a fucking sequel. Like, just put a number two on it, and nobody gets upset. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. I agree.
Uh, Someone wrote. Where I think someone wrote, well, okay. Spelling is an issue in this one. But I think they're trying to say, where is Montezuma's treasure? But what they wrote was, where is Monteuma's treasuary? And I don't have those answers. And if I did, I can share them.
Yeah, it's
Next.
confidential. It's probably in the void somewhere, but we cannot confirm
I
or deny.
can't. Correct. What's all, you guys hear like, you didn't hear all that gold clanging in the back.
No.
Um, Someone wants us to comment on the lack of quality RPGs that are being made these days. I think we will have to talk about that in a different podcast, but
Yep.
I'm starting to feel the same.
Okay.
I've been doing a little bit of digging into, I've been looking at some ports of old RPGs that I am nostalgic for
Yeah.
and loved. I'm trying to remember why I cared about them, um, and why I am also having such a hard time with RPGs lately that are newer and blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
But we'll that's for another episode, so stay tuned.
All right.
Um, Someone's taking a stance.
Oh shit, here
They
we
said,
go.
I'll stand by remakes over ports." Should I do it in a deep, like, I'm on a soapbox voice?
Yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want to make one.
absolutely.
Okay. "I'll stand by remakes over ports." Huh. We've we've seen how Bethesda, I don't know if that's like
The
a dig at
bathhouse.
Bethesda.
The
Yeah,
the bathhouse.
Bethesda has ported Skyrim for over 12 years versus how the Resident Evil games are getting a much needed graphical and sometimes engine tune up or overhauls. See, now that's where I'll fight you, homie.
Oh
It wasn't
shit.
needed. It's not needed. It's convenient, I guess, if you didn't like them, but it's not needed.
Oh,
And also, Skyrim's boring, so stop playing it. All right, anyways,
yeah. I
do you
guess
have any snarky remarks?
the thing I'll add on to that is that which I should have brought up earlier is I just was reminded by your comment on it is I feel like for remakes and the original games is like inherently remakes aren't like really that like harmful in my opinion, like even like when it is like a full remake, like you take Resident Evil 2 remake compared to the original, like the
Yeah.
original still exists, you can still play the
Right,
original, right?
exactly.
So like you can
Yeah,
still go back and play and enjoy those games if you want to compare contrast even, or just like
for sure.
for shits and giggles,
For shits
which I
and
often like to
giggles.
do.
Yeah, he likes to shit and giggle.
That's right.
All right. Next, here's a good question or a question for us. Do first title game developers do first time? I don't know what they mean by first title. I guess it's like the first time they make a game. Do first
Oh yeah,
title game
maybe.
developers still play with their fans or community? For example, Bungie was known for playing with the Halo community, and it was a big thing to brag about if you played a Bungie employee that had an exclusive armor.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't really know.
Yeah,
I don't
those
know. I
like
don't.
you'd join a game of Halo, just online play, and there would be a guy with like a flaming helmet, and that would be like the sign of like, oh shit, that's a Bungie employee. Because like,
Murder him.
yeah, you gotta beat his ass.
And then you're like, wait, he's a god. He starts throwing all the bullets back at you.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah. Let's see. With Stardew in mind, are there any spiritual successors you think fully supplanted or surpassed the games that inspired them? I think we went over this a bit already. I don't know if any of them really like replaced the games, but
Hmm.
I would say definitely Cyberpunk um is filling that void. Which I heard rumors. I don't like rumors, but I heard rumors that there might be coming back to Jet Set.
Okay.
Mostly because the guy who made all the music, Hideki Naganuma, he's a lunatic.
Okay.
he's he's always on Twitter saying crazy shit, and then suddenly he's like, "Sorry guys, I gotta get off Twitter now." And
What a
people think
rep.
like, "Oh, Sega was like, okay, come on back." But also, please stop fucking get the fuck off the internet because we cannot have this shit.
Unplug
Like
this man.
he's just like he'll say things like, "Yeah, I'm just a turned on 50-year-old looking for love."
Oh
Like, bro,
no.
stop. And like people just send him like photos. He would just retweet him like, "Yeah, I'd love to have a drink with you." Blah blah blah.
Oh
Like,
god.
okay, um, yeah. So I can't think of any like yeah, Stardew maybe. I haven't played Harvest Moon. Um,
I mean, I can imagine like for certain genres this is easier, like the sim games like SimCity, uh,
yeah.
probably The Sims, like those type of games, like or those are easy. Like just like full on, like the sequels are built to just be full upgrades, right?
Right, right.
Like that, it's the original
Uh,
game plus more. So
yeah. I would say probably the best spiritual successor of The Sims is probably Project Zomboid. I think it's the best version of The Sims you can get.
absolutely,
Incredibly immersive.
it's a very good mod
Uh,
for The
yeah. And we
Sims.
have a we have a Zomboid event in our server that we are late to right
Oh
now.
God,
So we should wrap this up really quick.
we
Thanks for
gotta
all the
get on a
questions. Thank
chopper,
you.
crash that
We got
chopper,
we got to
and then
crash a
escape.
chopper. Uh, Big shout out to everybody who participated. We really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
sorry for.
We like we like talking.
Yeah, sorry,
And
sorry about everything.
yeah, sorry. A few people want to shout outs. Alec, friend of the server. Actually, three of the next three. Alec, Single T, Bad Token, all server
Jarv.
members. You should Jarf. I don't know who Jarf is. Is that your
I
friend?
That's one of my buds, yeah.
All right,
And
Jarf.
actually,
You should.
yeah, that was that's a bit of a mix-up because I thought Jarf was the one who wrote the next part.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
well, there you go. Now we don't know.
Oh shit.
Uh, So yeah, if you haven't joined our Discord server, the link will be somewhere where you're watching this. You should join. We do events, we hang out, we talk shit, we it's just chill place.
Yeah.
Uh, and last shout out, someone said, well, the question is just if you want us to shout you out, let us know who you are. Someone wrote, no, you won't because you're a bitch and you'll never guess who this was. So jokes on
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
We, we don't
I
really
don't know who that was. Fuck.
well, but you just got shouted out anyway, so.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or do I know
We
who it is? I know who you are, you son of a bitch. I'm coming for you.
congratulations, man. You played yourself. I don't know what to
You
tell you,
done
dude.
played yourself. All
You didn't want to be shouted out, and now you are. All
right.
right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
Yep.
Thanks for
Subscribe.
thanking. Subscribe,
Ring the
like,
bell. Do the
comment,
things.
send me
Social
some
media.
tacos. Be social. Join our Discord. Join the Discord. That's where all the fun
Yeah,
happens. Join the Discord.
please do.
All right, we gotta go kill zombies.
All right.